promo gorilla, maybe a football player, maybe he even has his master's. We never know with this guy. We got Carson Byrd here joining me at the L table. How you doing?
What's going on? How are you?
Good, good. So it's a new season. So with the season, I wanted to start off with, like a little icebreaker, something really, really cool. So I want you to give our ill will a spin. Give my ill will a spin. Yeah, try this one. Gotta give it a try. Oh, okay. What story do your friends still give you crap about?
Probably my freshman year when I wore to college. I'm originally from Dayton, Ohio.
Okay.
So going to Hampton University was a big culture shock to me as
Right.
far as the fashion world. So I came to college in Coogee. I had a Coogee outfit, and
Look at these slick coming back.
Yeah, I mean,
On the low though.
Yeah, that's what it was. So no, they never let me, wherever I'm at around the world, they never let me forget. I came to college with Coogee on, so that's a story.
Was it like the jeans and the sweater, or like a
Nah,
sweat?
it was like an outfit, like the top, the bottom, the shoes. I'm from Dayton, so I was just happy to get out of Dayton. So
Right.
It was adjustment.
So with that being said, Dayton, you're from Dayton. For those who don't know, it's in Ohio. You're an only child, and do you feel like you beat a statistic? Do you feel like you were a statistic who had to kind of fight that battle, or where do you throw yourself?
I would definitely say I'm not a statistic. It's a lot of guys from my hometown. We all made it out through athletics. It's a group of guys. We call ourselves like West Dayton superheroes.
Okay.
West Dayton is the predominantly black and lower income base of our city, and a lot of us got a chance to see the world based on our athletic talents. Now, I did have a lot of friends that weren't athletic, and they didn't get a chance. They were blessed to make it outside of the city. So I beat the statistic that I didn't stay, but I feel as if I had the responsibility to leave because I had so many other people depending on me to leave there.
What I will say I like the most about you, Carson, is your ability to rebrand yourself. And you do it so easily that I almost forget, like, he was doing that. Like with the promo gorilla thing, I remember like when that was really, really going, like it was going in, like that's what you were doing. Weren't you managing the artist at one point?
Yeah.
I remember all of that. And so now to fast forward and we have the Just Know Im Workin brand, and you have your Carson Byrd type of thing going on, and the GoFundMe, and we're having the tours and all this different stuff. How do you get there, and how do you get there without feeling like you sold out, or that you compromised yourself, or that you did what the man wanted you to do, or things like that? I'm sure you get some backlash. I know it's not all roses and that type of thing. So for the backlash, how do you balance that, and how do you get to this point that you're at now?
I would definitely credit a lot of my success to giving my life to the Lord. I gave my life to the Lord when I turned 25, so about a year or so.
Okay.
But I live by a lot of mantras, but one of the things that is very much near and dear to my heart is 7 days in a week. Why are you the same person every day? So when it comes to the topic of rebranding myself, I wouldn't say I was rebranding myself. I was just learning more about Carson. As I got older, I found new things that I was interested in. I found new things that people had no idea that I was capable of doing. So I just try to dive into those things. So I'm still a promo gorilla.
Okay.
All of these things still exist. It's just a time and place for everything. And what's going on within our country right now, I think it's very much pivotal that we see strong black male leadership and not be all the way, sold out. Still relevant, still fresh.
With that, I know you want to get back to the community, that type of thing. What are you doing? Are you more? I know you're based out of DC, correct? What was that move like? Why not back to Dayton? But I know you have a voice there, but tell me what's going on.
I graduated September 2013. I was in London. My mother was sick, and my mother was based in DC. So I went to Dayton for like 2 weeks. Saw some things, a friend got indicted. Life what happens, and I decided that Dayton wasn't the place for me. And DC was prime opportunity. After traveling around the world, DC was the most international infused city that I had access to. So I just dropped my bags there, and it's been a year and a half, and it's been great.
Right. And I know you went to Hampton, so there is a nice space there, that DMV area, definitely. You're throwing parties there. What? I try to kind of keep up a little bit. It's like a networking, but it's partying. It's classy, but it looks like it gets a little like the fun that we like.
Yeah.
How were you able to even bring that type of idea to life? I know I'm like, Carson, you need to get down here to Atlanta. Like, how do you bring something like that? Because people don't believe in it.
Right now what I'm going by is Carson Byrd, the voice of the urban millennial. So the urban millennial is a terminology that I'm in the works of getting trademarked right now. But if we look at, we're here in Atlanta, the home of the urban music scene. So we have this hip hop culture. But with millennials, all of us being millennials, highly educated, very, very fast paced, kind of that fusion. We love the nightlife, but at the same point in time, we're at an age now where you go out and you want to meet your potential business partner or your husband or your wife while still enjoying yourself. So we kind of fuse those two brands together, and that's what we're doing right now with the events. I've been throwing events since I was 13 years old, so I'm always going to be attracted to doing events. That's where I make my bread and butter. But from that, I've also been able to introduce social issues. Not only if you can promote a party, you can promote anything.
Right.
So I'm taking my platform and promoting social justice as well as forward thinking amongst the urban millennial generation.
Very nice. And it's definitely needed with all of everything's so up and down, and I realize that we are surrounded by minority a lot, as far as a minority within our minority. Like, we are different, and when you are surrounded by greatness all the time, you sometimes forget what else is out there and who else to touch and who else needs help. And so when someone comes to you, a young guy comes to you, and he just really doesn't see the way out, what are some words? Because I feel like you've probably been there. You can relate. What are some words that you tell them? Because I mean, they getting shot down, not even opening their mouth. You know what I'm saying? So it's scary. What do you tell them?
One of the things that I tell a lot of people is a football analogy. I used to play football, so as a black man, you really have to gain yards daily. Throughout life, you're gonna be faced with obstacles. On the football field, you have turnovers, you have fumbles, you have interceptions. But at the end of the day, your end goal is to score a touchdown. So that's the same thing when I meet any guy my age, younger, or even sometimes guys that are older than me, asking what they can do, and I just say really focus on gaining yards daily. And as well, in terms of what's going on with the social and racial climate in the United States, it's really, I try to find the positive in every negative. It really shows how great we are. So embrace it. Walk loud, speak louder when you're at work, shoulders broad. I mean, it is what it is. There's nothing we can do about it. We just have to make sure that we stay connected amongst African American males and continue to push the culture forward.
So with that being said, you got 2014 30 under 30 HBCU. What's that honor like? Did you even, when you enter in your Coogee outfit, Hampton, freshman year, did you think that that's what would be coming?
Not at all. It was actually a surprise. My mother found it.
Oh, very nice.
My mother found it and sent it to me. It was great to be, because at that point in time, I've seen some of your other episodes and hearing your other guests. A lot of people don't know what's going on behind the back, behind closed doors. A lot of things have changed in my personal life.
Right.
And at that point in time, when I got that recognition, it was really a breath of fresh air, because I was really contemplating, was I doing the right thing?
Right.
Should I go back to being a promo girl? Because it's not happening as quick as I wanted. So that was a blessing. Huge thanks to HBCBuzz.com for that recognition. And it was great. We on there again, 2015.
I'm sure you will be. So you're 26, 30 under 30. That's pressure. Do you feel it, or are you just like moving like this is me, I do me, or are you feeling the pressure that you have to? Because eyes are on you, people are watching. You call yourself the Dayton hometown superhero, right? You feel like you just moving, you maneuvering through, or you wake up every day like, dang, I have to do this because someone is depending on me.
I try not to keep pressure on myself, because the world's going, people watching. There's pressure on me already.
Yeah.
So I don't want to add any added pressure to myself. But I'm definitely cognizant of what's going on. Finally figuring out kind of my end goals and things of that nature. So right now, everything's a blessing for me. Everything that I'm doing, I'm definitely more conscious of my brand and people that are watching me. So I try to continue to be as forward with my brand and get away further from who I am prior,
right?
You know? But I don't see it as any pressure because I said this last night. I'm the first person to do me. It's no Carson Byrd. It's no blueprint. It's no yellow brick road for my success. So every day is a blessing. So I feel no pressure to be myself.
That was a good IG caption for me. I can't wait to. One thing that I think is also admirable, like we talked about, black men making sure that they stay, loud and understand it's great. This is great to be you, and this is why they're scared. I like your transition from your athletic career. A lot of people don't see they don't see the other side. People who play football, basketball, baseball, soccer since they were 5, and then they turn 24 and they get hit, or that leg turns that way, or you're just, your body's not functioning like that. That transition can be, probably the majority of people can't successfully transition out of that mind state. They need to hear how they can get out of that, because it's a lot of people living right now, sitting down right now, who still, bro, let's go play a little catch. Like when I was in middle school, I ran like, boy, you like 30, so they need to hear was it a transition, or were you able to just hop up and?
For me, we went to school together.
You were the captain of the football team,
but at that time when I was doing the football thing, I was also hosting Twitter too.
Right.
I also had my own blog. I also had a clothing line, so I was always able to manage my time. The hardest part for me transitioning out of athletics was probably the lack of structure. Football allowed me to be very successful because everything had a lot of time slot. Yeah. And then when you're given freedom, it's like you can be great on your own. But it's like, where do I start? So you go through the slight depression, because football it's a religion. You do it every day, and then at the end of the day, I got cut, and I just looked myself in the mirror, and I said, I'm not going to spend the rest of my life impressing people to get a paycheck. Like, I'll do it on my own. If I'm gonna work this hard, I'm gonna work this hard for Carson. So it was cool for me.
So with that being said, just know I'm working. I read, and I knew that you had kind of further your education, and you took an abroad route, which I think is great. People need to see the world. We don't even understand what's outside the U.S. So you went to Genevieve, Switzerland, right? London, England, Beijing, China, and what was the other place? Austria?
Yeah, Vienna, Austria.
Have they seen Carson Byrd? Did you go in like how, or like what was it? Love? Was it hate? It was
a life-changing experience. I think that grew me up the most. I was at Hampton after getting cut. I was making a little bit of money, and I didn't want to become the all-star Hampton alumni. The guy that's been in town for 10 years, every freshman class.
There are a few.
It's a few.
Maybe more than a few.
Nothing wrong with that. Yeah. But for me, I just knew it was such a bigger opportunity out there. I got my master's in international relations, so I moved every 10 weeks to all these various countries, and it was a big adjustment. A lot of when I was in Beijing, China, you get paid people to take pictures with you because they've never really seen a black person before. You really don't comprehend that concept because we grew up in a majority of African American neighborhoods. It was life changing. I love it. Europe definitely changed my mindset on a lot of things. Asia, I was able to go to Morocco, I was able to go to a lot of places and really figure out that it's bigger than what we see every day here on the home front. And as a black man, we need to go over there. We need to have a presence locally.
So the Just Know I'm Working, I know I like it because it's so impactful, but it has that slang feel that you need to kind of catch on. Now, remember when you first started, I'm like, oh, here go Carson, here we go, Just Know I'm Working, here we go. But it picked up, and it picked up really, really, really fast. And I remember saying, I know I tag you sometimes like, they using your tag, bro, and who just to see the full circle of it. What do you feel like? Is that what you thought when somebody asked you what you doing? You said just know I'm working. Pounds, just know I'm working. Did you think it was gonna just take off?
Nah, not at all. I was the backstory behind just know I'm working. I was in Beijing, China, and I got a Facebook message from my cousin because when I went overseas, I really didn't go in depth into what I was doing. And my cousin was like, "Yo, you know what's going on?" And at that point in time, at that age, I felt really obligated to update people on everything I was doing in my life. You know, coming from Hampton, you can't fall off.
That need, right?
I can't fall off. But at the end of the day, what I was trying to figure out, even here, sitting down with this, I couldn't have planned that 2 years ago. I was figuring everything out. So I simply replied, just know I'm working, as you know, like a little slick way. Don't worry about it. Man, 2 days later, I go on his Instagram. That's his caption. A week later, that's my best friend's caption. I'm like, okay, this could potentially be something bigger than just a slang saying. So we've been able to develop it, and now we're a full-fledged success advocacy brand, and we advocate for millennial success in a digital age. And I'm very excited. I pray it continues to grow because it's bigger than me.
Right.
It has nothing. I'm just the curator. Somebody else could be the face of just know I'm working because it's a concept.
Okay. So with that being said, I was thinking, just know I'm working, just know I'm this, just know I'm that. So we don't play that game. Just know I'm. Okay, so let's see. Just know I'm walking or running.
Yeah.
You running full speed?
I'm full speed.
Sprints, jogs.
Yeah,
Okay. Just know I'm forgiving or retaliating.
Right now I'm forgiving.
Okay.
The old Carson I was retaliating, but at the end of the day, with my growth and my progression, it's all about forgiving, peace and prosperity for everybody, because everybody's growth happens at a different time. So I'm forgiving right now.
Just know I'm talking or listening.
More than likely talking. To be completely honest, I listen, but my product is myself. So if I don't sell my dream, who else will? So I'm probably selling myself.
And last one, just know I'm loving or living.
I don't think you can live without loving. So.
Don't just void my question like that. But you're right.
If you're not loving what you're doing, you're really not living. So I would say just know I'm loving. I'm a Scorpio, so I'm big on
love. Okay. So one last thing for the roll. Let's take one more spin at the wheel.
Okay.
What do you think Victoria's Secret is?
I don't know.
She don't got no clothes, clearly.
That was a guy that founded Victoria's Secret.
Probably, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But no idea.
I guess come home. That's the secret. Come home right now.
Okay, so just know I'm working. That's the movement. That's the brand. Look in this camera. I know you've been having speaking engagements. You all over the country. Let the people know what's next for you to bring to the table and how they can get on part of the movement.
Okay. Just know I'm working. We're officially launching our website April 10th. JustKnowI'mWorkin.com. That's Just Know I'm Working with no G. We're continuing with the Embrace the Process speaking tour. So we're looking to come to a city near you, explaining success, advocacy, and how we can help you get to your end goal. For me personally, further developing my company, the Carson Byrd Group, and some other things we really cannot discuss. Okay. But just peace and prosperity. I appreciate the support, and I'm here to help.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.